Anticipating a 30% market share shift in automotive electrification, Volkswagen's strategy and global dynamics by 2025. Introduction. The automotive industry is undergoing a transformational shift towards electrification driven by rapid technological advancements, evolving consumer preferences, and stringent regulatory frameworks aimed at reducing carbon emissions. This report outlines the anticipated 30% market share shift in the automotive electrification and supply chain sectors by 2025, with a particular focus on Volkswagen's strategic initiatives and their broader implications for international competition and global automotive dynamics. Current landscape and projections. Electrification growth. According to the International Energy Agency (IEA), the global electric vehicle EV fleet is projected to expand significantly, reaching approximately 250 million EVs by 2030 and 525 million by 2035. This growth trajectory is supported by strong policy backing, with electric light-duty vehicles (LDVs) expected to make up 40% of total sales by 2030 and over 50% by 2035. The shift towards electrification is not merely a trend but a fundamental change in how transportation is approached globally. Volkswagen's strategic goals. Volkswagen has set ambitious electrification targets, increasing its battery electric vehicle BEV delivery goals from 50% to 55% in the US and from 70% to 80% in Europe by 2030. These targets reflect a commitment to localizing production, investing in digital technologies, and enhancing supply chain efficiencies. The company's strategy is designed to maintain competitiveness in a rapidly evolving automotive landscape. Regional dynamics. The pace of electrification varies significantly across different regions. China, expected to see new energy vehicle (NEV) sales surpassing 50% by 2025. Bolstered by government policies and consumer acceptance. Europe, Volkswagen's factories are poised to leverage local supply chains to mitigate rising costs and tariffs. United States anticipates a 55% share of electric LDV sales by 2030, supported by new emissions standards and infrastructure investments. Supply chain considerations. Dynamics and disruptions. The automotive supply chain is currently experiencing disruptions due to a combination of geopolitical tensions, trade tariffs, and labor disputes. The US and Canada have instituted higher tariffs on EV imports, compelling companies like BYD to establish localized production in Europe to manage costs effectively. Investment trends. Over $275 billion has been allocated globally to EV and battery manufacturing to create domestic supply chains in response to evolving industrial policies. This investment trend has led to increased collaboration between automakers and battery suppliers, ensuring robust production capabilities in the face of rising demand. Timeline of key events. 2023. Significant increases in global EV sales driven by ambitious targets from major automakers. 2024, Volkswagen adjusts its BEV targets upwards, focusing on local production amidst geopolitical challenges. 2025, a projected 30% market share shift in electric vehicles aligns with global policy shifts towards sustainable transportation and enhanced charging infrastructure. Key implications. Competitive landscape. Volkswagen's strategic initiatives are expected to redefine international competition in the automotive sector. By prioritizing local production and digital transformation, VW aims to maintain a competitive edge against established and emerging players in the EV market. The anticipated market share shift will likely intensify competition among automakers, pushing them to innovate rapidly. Global automotive dynamics. The shift towards electrification and the corresponding changes in supply chain dynamics will have profound implications for global automotive dynamics. As manufacturers localize production and adapt to new regulatory environments, the global distribution of automotive manufacturing may see significant changes, with emerging markets becoming increasingly pivotal in the supply chain. Environmental considerations. The transition to electric vehicles is also aligned with broader environmental goals aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions and combating climate change. As countries implement stricter emissions regulations, the push for electrification will be crucial in achieving sustainability targets. Conclusion. The anticipated 30% market share shift in the automotive electrification and supply chain sectors by 2025, largely driven by Volkswagen's strategic initiatives, will significantly alter the global automotive landscape. As the industry pivots towards electrification, key players must adapt to new competitive realities, invest in localized supply chains, and embrace digital transformation to thrive in this evolving environment. The implications of these changes will resonate across the industry, influencing everything from consumer behavior to regulatory frameworks and environmental policies in the years to come. The anticipated shift in automotive market share towards electrification by 2025, particularly driven by Volkswagen VW, is expected to redefine international competition and influence global automotive dynamics significantly. The following points highlight counterintuitive insights regarding this transition, illustrating the complexities and unexpected realities within the industry. 1. Underestimating consumer demand. Despite aggressive electrification targets and investments, some automakers, including VW, have reported slower than expected consumer demand for battery electric vehicles (BEVs). This contrasts with the prevailing narrative that electrification is an unequivocally positive trend. The reality is that consumer reluctance, influenced by high prices, range anxiety, and limited charging infrastructure, has led to fluctuations in sales rather than a steady increase. 2. Geopolitical disruption versus market growth. While geopolitical tensions and trade tariffs have been perceived as significant barriers to growth, they also present opportunities for domestic manufacturers. For example, increased tariffs on Chinese EV imports have prompted companies like BYD to localize production in Europe to mitigate costs. This creates a paradox where protectionist measures intended to safeguard local industries may inadvertently stimulate localized production and innovation. 3. Tariff impact on pricing strategies. The introduction of heavy tariffs on Chinese EVs has led companies to adapt their pricing strategies, often allowing them to sell at higher prices in Europe while still remaining competitive. This contradicts the assumption that tariffs universally harm market access. Instead, they may allow certain manufacturers to capture higher margins by leveraging local production and reducing dependency on imports. 4. Investment in infrastructure amid economic pressure. The ongoing economic pressures from high energy and labor costs have led some automakers like VW to consider plant closures and layoffs. However, at the same time, there is significant investment in charging infrastructure and battery production. This duality suggests that while companies are cutting costs in one area, they are simultaneously recognizing the long-term necessity of investing in infrastructure to support the anticipated growth in EV sales. 5. Industry overcapacity versus consumer readiness. The automotive industry is grappling with overcapacity due to prior investments made in anticipation of high EV demand. However, the reality is that many consumers are still not ready to transition fully to EVs, leading to an oversupply in the market. This contradiction illustrates the challenge of aligning production capabilities with actual consumer behavior, which remains hesitant despite technological advancements and environmental incentives. 6. Mixed fortunes in BEV adoption. The narrative around electric vehicles often portrays a linear growth trajectory. However, the data indicates a more complex picture. While there are reports of increasing registrations of BEVs, certain markets, particularly in Europe, have shown significant declines in sales due to economic factors, leading to a more nuanced understanding of market dynamics. 7. Localization versus globalization. The trend towards localizing supply chains in response to tariffs and geopolitical tensions is counterintuitive to the previously established globalized supply chain model. Companies are now realizing that local production can enhance resilience and reduce costs in light of fluctuating international trade conditions, which contrasts with the earlier belief that global supply chains would provide the most efficiency. 8. Technological innovation amidst cost-cutting. As companies focus on cost reduction due to economic pressures, there is an unexpected emphasis on technological innovation to achieve efficiencies. For instance, automakers are increasingly investing in digital technologies and automation. This suggests that the industry's response to economic challenges is not merely to cut back but to innovate and improve operational efficiencies. 9. Ambitious targets versus realistic outcomes. The ambitious targets set by major automakers for electrification, including VW's increased BEV delivery goals, do not always align with market realities. Some companies have missed near-term goals due to a variety of factors, including economic conditions and production challenges. This highlights a disconnect between the industry's aspirations and the practicalities of achieving those goals. 10. Shift in battery manufacturing dynamics. The rise of battery manufacturing as a critical component of the EV supply chain is leading to a re-evaluation of traditional automotive supply chains. Companies are now more focused on securing battery supplies locally, which was not previously a priority. This shift reflects an understanding that battery availability is a key determinant of EV production and sales, countering the assumption that vehicle production would always drive battery demand. In summary, the anticipated market share shift towards electrification by 2025 is characterized by several counterintuitive trends. These include the complexities of consumer demand, the impacts of geopolitical disruptions, and the dual focus on cost-cutting and investment in innovation. As automakers navigate these challenges, the dynamics of the automotive industry are evolving in ways that may not align with initial expectations. The report on Volkswagen's anticipated 30% market share shift by 2025 in the automotive electrification and supply chain sectors reveals several significant insights that many readers may overlook. These insights highlight crucial dynamics influencing the global automotive landscape and the competitive strategies of major players like Volkswagen. 1. Localized production strategies. One important aspect that may be overlooked is Volkswagen's strategy to localize production in response to rising costs and tariffs. The report indicates that VW aims to leverage local supply chains in Europe, countering the challenges posed by geopolitical tensions and trade tariffs. This localization is significant because it not only mitigates the risks associated with international supply chains but also aligns with sustainability goals by reducing transportation emissions and costs. Readers might underestimate how pivotal localized production is in enabling manufacturers to remain competitive in an increasingly regulatory-driven market. 2. Impact of geopolitical tensions and trade tariffs. The report discusses the disruptions caused by geopolitical tensions, particularly the tariffs imposed by the US and Canada on EV imports. This aspect is critical but often underappreciated. Many readers may focus solely on the electrification rates and consumer demand but fail to recognize how trade policies fundamentally alter supply chain logistics and financial viability for manufacturers like VW and their competitors. The shift to local production is partly a strategic response to these external pressures, which can have long-term implications for market dynamics. 3. Regional disparities in electrification rates. The report illustrates significant regional variations in EV adoption, particularly highlighting China's projected NEV sales surpassing 50% by 2025. While many may acknowledge China as a leader in EV sales, the report's details regarding the specific policies driving this growth, such as government incentives and infrastructure development, are crucial. Understanding these nuances helps contextualize why certain markets may accelerate faster than others, emphasizing the need for global automakers to tailor their strategies. Readers often overlook the importance of regional policy environments in shaping market potentials. 4. Investment trends and industry collaboration. The report notes that over $275 billion has been committed globally to EV and battery manufacturing. What's significant here is the collaborative efforts between automakers and battery suppliers to build domestic supply chains. This trend signifies a strategic shift towards partnerships that enhance production capabilities and sustainability. Readers might not fully grasp the extent to which collaboration can foster innovation and reduce costs, which is vital for scaling EV production in the face of increasing demand. 5. Consumer behavior and market sentiment. The report touches on fluctuating consumer demand in the context of high energy and labor costs, particularly in Europe. The mention of consumer behavior is critical as it affects automakers' production decisions and market strategies. As EV prices remain elevated, understanding consumer sentiment towards EVs versus internal combustion engine vehicles can offer insights into future market trends. This consumer perspective is often overlooked in favor of focusing on production capacities or regulatory frameworks. 6. Technological innovations in supply chain management. The integration of digital technologies and automation in supply chain logistics is another significant trend highlighted in the report that may not receive the attention it deserves. As companies face pressures from both cost management and efficiency improvements, the adoption of advanced technologies can streamline operations, enhance productivity, and reduce waste. Readers might underestimate how critical these innovations are to the success of electrification strategies and overall competitiveness. 7. Shifts in competitive strategies among major automakers. The report discusses changes in the targets of major automakers such as VW's increased ambitions for battery electric vehicle BEV deliveries. This indicates a broader trend of competitive repositioning in the automotive industry, where traditional manufacturers are aggressively adapting to the electrification wave, which is essential for understanding the future landscape of global mobility. Conclusion. The report on Volkswagen's strategic positioning in the evolving automotive landscape by 2025 encapsulates critical insights that extend beyond mere statistics and projections. By focusing on localized production strategies, geopolitical dynamics, regional disparities, investment collaborations, consumer behavior, technological advancements, competitive shifts, and environmental impacts, one can grasp the multifaceted nature of the automotive industry's transition towards electrification. These insights highlight the complex interplay of factors that will ultimately redefine international competition and influence global automotive dynamics. Understanding these elements is vital for stakeholders aiming to navigate and thrive in this rapidly changing environment. 1. Electrification growth and market dynamics. The automotive industry is undergoing a transformative shift towards electric vehicles (EVs), with projections indicating a 12-fold increase in the global electric vehicle fleet by 2035, driven by policy support and consumer demand. By 2025, it is anticipated that electric light-duty vehicles (LDVs) will represent a significant portion of total sales, particularly in regions like China, Europe, and the United States. This trend emphasizes the need for automakers including Volkswagen to enhance their electrification strategies, adapt to regional market dynamics, and invest in local production capabilities to maintain competitiveness. 2. Volkswagen's strategic initiatives. Volkswagen's ambitious strategy aims to capture a larger market share by increasing its battery electric vehicle BEV delivery targets in key markets. The company's focus on localizing production, investing in digital technologies, and optimizing supply chain efficiency is critical for adapting to the evolving automotive landscape. By setting higher targets for BEV sales in both the US and Europe, Volkswagen is positioning itself to meet consumer demand and regulatory requirements, which will be essential for sustaining its market presence amid intense competition from both established automakers and emerging players. 3. Supply chain dynamics and geopolitical influences. The automotive supply chain faces significant challenges due to geopolitical tensions, trade tariffs, and labor disputes. Disruptions in the supply chain, particularly related to imports from China, have prompted manufacturers to localize production and rethink their sourcing strategies. For Volkswagen and other automakers, navigating these complexities while ensuring an efficient and resilient supply chain is paramount for maintaining profitability and meeting production targets in a rapidly changing market environment. 4. Investment trends in industry collaboration. Over $275 billion has been committed globally to EV and battery manufacturing, reflecting a strong shift towards building domestic supply chains in response to new industrial policies. The collaboration between automakers and battery suppliers is critical for ensuring robust production capabilities. Volkswagen's strategic partnerships and investments in battery technology and production facilities will play a crucial role in supporting its electrification goals and competitiveness in the global market. This trend highlights the importance of fostering innovation and collaboration within the automotive ecosystem to address the challenges and opportunities presented by the electrification movement. In conclusion, the anticipated 30% market share shift in the automotive sector by 2025, particularly driven by electrification and strategic initiatives from companies like Volkswagen, will significantly reshape the competitive landscape and influence global automotive dynamics. Famous historical cases similar to Volkswagen's strategy in automotive electrification. 1. Ford's Model T in the assembly line revolution 1913 to 1927. Context: Henry Ford's introduction of the Model T revolutionized the automotive industry in the early 20th century. By implementing mass production techniques, particularly the moving assembly line, Ford drastically reduced the cost of manufacturing and made automobiles affordable for the average American. Impact: the success of the Model T set a new standard for automobile production and led to a significant shift in consumer behavior. Ford's strategies not only transformed the automotive sector but also influenced global manufacturing practices across various industries. This case parallels Volkswagen's current push for electrification and efficiency in production, as both companies sought to redefine market dynamics through innovative approaches. Competitive dynamics: Ford's approach forced competitors to adapt quickly, leading to the emergence of mass production as a dominant strategy in the automotive industry. The competitive landscape was reshaped as other manufacturers had to innovate or risk obsolescence, mirroring how Volkswagen's electrification strategy is prompting shifts in international competition. 2. Toyota's lean manufacturing and the just-in-time production system 1970s. Context: in the 1970s, Toyota revolutionized automotive manufacturing with its lean production system, emphasizing efficiency, waste reduction, and flexibility. This methodology allowed Toyota to respond rapidly to market changes while maintaining high-quality standards. Impact: the widespread adoption of lean principles by automakers globally has greatly influenced production processes across various industries. Toyota's focus on continuous improvement Kaizen became a benchmark for operational excellence, paralleling Volkswagen's current emphasis on supply chain efficiency and local production in response to market demands and geopolitical pressures. Competitive dynamics: Toyota's strategies led to increased competition, pushing other manufacturers to adopt similar practices or risk losing market share. This scenario is reminiscent of how Volkswagen's strategic initiatives in electrification are compelling other automotive companies to accelerate their own electrification plans to remain competitive. 3. General Motors' electric vehicle strategy in the 1990s EV1 program. Context: in the 1990s, General Motors launched the EV1, one of the first mass-produced electric vehicles in the U.S. The program was part of California's zero-emission vehicle mandate, which aimed to reduce air pollution in urban areas. Impact: although the EV1 program was ultimately discontinued in 2003 due to various challenges, it marked a significant moment in automotive history, demonstrating both the potential for electric vehicles and the complexities of market adoption and regulatory environments. The lessons learned from the EV1 program continue to inform current strategies in the automotive sector, including Volkswagen's approach to electrification and its navigation of regulatory challenges. Competitive dynamics: the initial enthusiasm for electric vehicles during the EV1 era led to increased interest and investment in alternative energy vehicles, setting the stage for the current wave of electrification. Volkswagen's strategy to capture a significant share of the EV market by 2025 reflects a recognition of the long-term potential of electric vehicles similar to the early efforts made by GM. These historical cases illustrate how strategic innovations in manufacturing and product development have reshaped competitive dynamics within the automotive industry. Just as Ford, Toyota, and GM adapted to market demands and regulatory pressures in their respective eras, Volkswagen's current electrification strategy is poised to redefine international competition in the automotive sector. Future outlook: anticipating a 30% market share shift in automotive electrification and Volkswagen's strategic influence by 2025. The automotive industry is on the cusp of a monumental transformation characterized by a significant shift towards electrification and a projected 30% increase in electric vehicle EV market share by 2025. This shift is largely driven by Volkswagen's VW aggressive strategies and the evolving landscape of global competition. As we look forward, several key trends are expected to shape the future dynamics of the automotive electrification and supply chain sectors. 1. Accelerated electrification and market share dynamics. By 2025, it is anticipated that electric vehicles will account for a substantial portion of the automotive market. The International Energy Agency (IEA) predicts the global electric vehicle fleet will increase dramatically, with EVs representing over 40% of light-duty vehicle sales by 2030 and over 50% by 2035. This growth will be bolstered by strong government policies, consumer demand, and competitive pricing, particularly in regions like China, where new energy vehicles (NEVs) are expected to constitute more than 50% of sales by 2025. Volkswagen in particular is poised to redefine its market position. With its commitment to increase battery electric vehicle BEV sales from 50% to 55% in the US and from 70% to 80% in Europe by 2030, VW is setting the pace for industry-wide electrification. This strategic focus not only positions VW as a leader in the EV market but also influences other automakers to accelerate their electrification efforts. 2. Strengthening supply chains and local production. The automotive supply chain is undergoing significant restructuring. Geopolitical tensions, trade tariffs, and increasing costs have forced companies to localize production and enhance supply chain efficiencies. In response to rising tariffs on EV imports, particularly from China, automakers are investing in local manufacturing capabilities. For instance, BYD's plans to establish production facilities in Europe illustrate the shift towards localized supply chains aimed at circumventing tariffs and reducing transportation costs. Volkswagen's strategy includes leveraging local supply chains to optimize production costs and respond to shifting consumer preferences. By investing in domestic battery production and collaborating with local suppliers, VW aims to create a robust framework that can withstand supply chain disruptions and enhance its competitive edge. 3. Technological advancements and digital transformation. The automotive industry is witnessing rapid advancements in digital technologies that are reshaping operations. The integration of artificial intelligence (AI), machine learning (ML), and automation within supply chain processes is enhancing efficiency and reducing costs. For example, VW and other automakers are adopting digital twins and robotics in their manufacturing plants to streamline production and improve logistics. As the industry moves towards electric mobility, the focus on developing advanced battery technologies will be paramount. Investments in research and development are expected to yield breakthroughs in battery efficiency, charging speed, and sustainability, further driving the adoption of electric vehicles. 4. Regulatory changes and environmental policies. Government regulations are playing a critical role in steering the automotive industry towards electrification. Stricter emissions standards and climate goals are compelling automakers to innovate and transition to sustainable practices. In Europe, the implementation of the EU's CO2 standards for vehicles will necessitate that automakers achieve higher sales shares of electric vehicles, influencing strategic planning across the industry. by aligning its objectives with regulatory frameworks. Volkswagen is positioning itself to not only comply with these standards but also to capitalize on the growing market for sustainable vehicles. The anticipated transition towards zero-emission vehicles is expected to create new opportunities for companies that can adapt quickly. 5. Competitive landscape and global dynamics. The shift towards electrification is reshaping the competitive landscape of the automotive industry. Traditional automakers are now competing with emerging players, particularly from China, which have established a strong foothold in the EV market. Brands like BYD and Chery are leveraging competitive pricing and aggressive marketing strategies to capture market share, particularly in Europe and North America. Volkswagen's response to this competitive pressure includes strategic partnerships and alliances that enhance its technological capabilities and market reach. Collaborations with battery manufacturers and tech firms will enable VW to innovate and respond effectively to the evolving demands of consumers. Conclusion: the automotive industry is on the brink of a transformative era driven by the electrification of vehicles and a shift in market dynamics. By 2025, the anticipated 30% market share shift in electric vehicles is set to redefine international competition, with Volkswagen at the forefront of this transition. The integration of advanced technologies, localized supply chains, and compliance with regulatory frameworks will play crucial roles in shaping the future of the automotive landscape. As the industry adapts to these changes, the focus on sustainability, innovation, and strategic collaboration will determine the success of automakers in the rapidly evolving global market. The next few years will be critical as companies navigate challenges and seize opportunities in the quest for a cleaner and more electrified automotive future.